Here are today's episode highlights.
And today we have a fifth comadre, and she is...
Sandy.
I am Sandy.
I am Sandy.
Yay! Today we're going to talk about, wellness, well-being, and our gut health.
But we will do a toast because I'm a true fan and I've been watching every episode and I know we need a little vinito, but I brought one sin alcohol.
What?
Hey,
Wait, they make wine without alcohol?
Yes.
Wow. How is that possible?
Tengo una década dándole duro a la botella. No, but you know what? I love that we're talking about this.
It's a good subject.
Yeah, like how does alcohol affect our gut health? Right?
That's a very great question. And some people don't like the answer. So what is the worst of three evils? Is it alcohol? Is it smoking? Or is it seed oils?
¿Cómo le digo a mi esposo? How do I tell him that oil is one of the unhealthiest?
You just have to tell him. Yeah.
So I do not know how to tell him.
Yes.
You want me to tell him?
Educating. Okay, how do you read the labels? And at one point, my mom said, okay, you're telling me I can't eat this, I can't eat that. What can I eat?
Se frustró.
See,
I'm just not going to eat the bread anymore when they bring the bread basket.
But you love bread.
I do love bread. It's definitely something that I love. And it's not, like I said, it's not a diet. Like, I just don't eat carbs.
I get a lot of parents that bring in kids for ADHD, autism, or people that suffer from a lot of anxiety, depression. It'll show these brain chemicals that are imbalanced.
Where do we start? How do we start this journey? Do we start step by step? Do we just dive right in?
I cannot walk into a Sephora.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
You don't have teens. Thank God.
Yes. Kids are being triple vaxxed now, right?
Yes.
She knows this.
It's crazy.
It's crazy the stuff that they're injecting you. So you have to be careful.
It's not. I don't think it's crazy. There's a lot of things there that are really, really good for the kid.
Dairies.
I know that you said full fat yogurt, so
Yeah.
we shouldn't
Yeah.
be afraid of fat.
No.
Oh, ¿cuál agarro?
Yes.
Wild caught
Yes.
or farm raised?
Oh, wild.
Oh my God.
Wild
What is
way.
the difference? I don't have time to
Yes.
research right now.
Yeah.
What's cheaper? What's more expensive?
Right.
What's pinkier? What's pinkier? Todo tiene un lado bueno y un lado malo.
Yeah.
It's just, if si vas a pecar, peca bien. Pero no peques todos los días.
I would love to present you ladies with these little gift packages that I've made specifically for Las Comadres.
There's
and
more?
Yes. So,
I love what you said. Say it again.
buena compañía, buena energía.
There we go.
Hey girl, welcome! We've been waiting for you.
Bienvenida. We are four comadres and we are so excited to have you here. I am Argelia.
I am Mindy. I am Diana.
And I'm Janet.
This is Comadres Unfiltered. Salud! Hey! Welcome, comadritas, to a new episode of Comadres Unfiltered. You know what? I'm going to do something that I didn't warn you, but let's just go on the fly here.
Oh, I'm scared.
For new subscribers. For new subscribers, I am Argelia.
I am Mindy. I am Diana.
And I'm Janet.
And today we have a fifth comadre, and she is...
Sandy.
I am Sandy.
I am Sandy.
Yay! She's our fifth comadre. I know, we should have prepped you. Sorry. My bad. But this is how you know that así es el show.
It's
very
unplanned.
casual,
Natural.
very relaxed. And you look so beautiful, ahijada.
Thank you. Thank you, madrina.
glowing. You're
Thank
glowing.
you, girls. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Oh, yes.
Trust me, we have questions.
Lots of questions.
Do we have questions, verdad, comadritas, en la casa, listening in the car, at work, during their lunch, stuffing a pizza? You're not going to want to stuff that pizza right now, trust me.
The last piece of pizza
Or maybe
you're gonna be
we
eating.
will, but what kind of pizza?
Yes.
¿Verdad? Esa es la pregunta. So today we're going to talk about, wellness, well-being, and our gut health. But when we think about gut health, we think of, how gross, sistema digestivo. But honestly, I've heard of this before. People that have acne or skin issues, it all comes down to our gut health. People ask me about my hair y todo el rollo. I'm like, it's what you eat. Again, gut health, right? And just our well-being, like emotional, health with the stress and anxiety, it all comes down to gut health.
Yeah.
But we're not pros. So we had to invite a professional, an expert. And Dr. Sandy Cordon, how beautiful does that sound?
Yeah.
Right? Dr. Sandy Cordon, let me just read, because I don't want to mess up your title. But Dr. Sandy Cordon is a doctor of chiropractic specializing in functional medicine with a focus on women's health and gut health, and expert in holistic and functional medicine. Now that is a handful.
Yes.
Mouthful. And a mouthful, literally. But yes, today we're talking about everything and anything with the gut. So thank you for being here, Ahijada. We have so many questions.
We do. So many.
And honestly, we have to make a confession. We always kind of like to drink wine in this episode. But I did say, we can't drink wine with a wellness episode with Sandy. Nos va a regañar. So
That's coming.
we brought our tea. She brought her tea.
I have tea.
And I brought my water. Qué aburrida el día de hoy.
Water.
Sorry, Coma. Yo sé que tú eres de agua.
Yo soy de
Chócala.
agua. Yo soy de agua.
Pero pues ni modo. We can't do a toast with because we're not drinking
still
alcohol
can.
with you.
But we will do a toast because I'm a true fan and I've been watching every episode and I know we need a little vinito, but I brought one sin alcohol.
What? Wait, you make wine without alcohol?
Yes.
Wow. How is that possible?
So we have a rosé and a white non-alcoholic beverage for Las Comadres.
Oh, I love this.
All organic. So we get to toast in a healthy way.
Oh my God, I love you more.
Yes.
I love you more. I love you more.
Oh, thank
pues
God.
abre la botella. ¿Verdad, Diana? Abre la botella.
Yes, thank God.
Dice, thank God. We need
Thank
it.
God we need wine.
If you only knew the day we've had today. We've been through a lot today. ¿Verdad? Que no, chicas? It's
been a long day.
The day that while she opens a box, today, just so that you know, is the day where we took over the YouTube show for María Argelia. So the Comadres took over the YouTube show for María Argelia. And we already had a glass of wine there because today, believe it or not, while the day that we record this episode, today is officially National Drink Wine Day.
I didn't even know.
You didn't even know?
I didn't know.
See? Well, I knew that. I was like, bueno, pues ya tomamos nuestro vinito en el show de YouTube. Pues aquí ya nos aguantamos. But thanks to you, Dr. Sandy.
You brought us
Look
an
at how cute those
alternative.
bottles
A healthy
are.
alternative.
So this is
I
wine,
love it.
champagne,
This
Prosecco.
is bubbly.
Oh.
I think
It's
it's like a
bubbly.
summery
Organic wine.
Organic
bubbly organic
wine.
Yeah, it's French bubbly. So that means that it's made in France, but it's not in champagne.
Oh, I
While
love that.
Janet opens, she's a pro at
Yes,
opening these
yeah,
bottles.
she's a pro.
I'm
She's
very
got it
six
down.
turns.
That's right. Actually, you're supposed to put your hand on top so it doesn't
Okay.
explode.
Thank you. I already had that
How many?
accident.
7?
Okay.
4, 5, 6.
Oh,
There's
six.
always 6.
6.
And then while the cork is still on, you remove it.
No lo batiste, ¿verdad, Sandy?
Hey!
Ya ves, Carlitos,
Look
el
how
producer.
flawless.
Aprende,
Look how
amigo.
flawless.
Aprende.
so nice.
Oye,
Flawless. Look at
She's a pro.
I love
Yeah,
it.
she is.
I hate to say it, but I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah. But before you serve it, I mean, we were not prepared to drink wine. Yeah, right. Y con las
We are
copas
so
aquí
not
bien
prepared.
plantadas en la mesa, ¿verdad? I mean, I was going to sneak it in there somehow without Dr. Sandy seeing my stash back here, which I'm not going to take out because, you know what? This is the first time I'm going to try non-alcoholic wine. Es la primera vez.
we got-
No, a mí
give us-
sírveme mi
yes.
copa la mera mera.
Okay.
This is my mera
That's a
mera
beautiful
copa
cup.
de vintage 1975, thanks to my cousin Belly.
Okay, the smell is so incredible. I can't even get over it.
Perfect. Let's do a
Cheers.
toast. Sandy, gracias por venir a este episodio for wellness. It's our first
Thank
wellness
you.
issue with a pro like
you.
you.
Yes, a pro like you.
So toast
Cheers.
to Dr. Sandy and
Dr.
our
Sandy.
comadrita.
Toast to las comadres. Thank you.
love
Salud.
it.
A ver,
Thank you.
la prueba del millón.
Okay, let's see her.
¡Ay, manito! ¿Ya se me subió? No.
Wow.
Para
Not only are we talking
riquísimo.
wellness,
good.
we're actually participating.
You know
This
what?
is great.
So
This is a
good.
great way of keeping each other on check without
this
no
is-
se te pasen las copas. Let's get a organic non-alcoholic wine.
This is what,
RG, you
this
that
is what I'm
drink a
doing.
lot. You know what I mean? Well,
Digas borracha,
okay, let me start that
amiga.
again. Let me start that again.
No, I love it. Soy borracha y qué.
But RG, you that know your wine,
I know my
you
wine.
know, and I will also join that conversation
Yes.
because I do know my rosés. I mean, this tastes exactly like other rosés.
Right? Right?
I think it tastes even better, to
Yeah,
be
it's
honest
even
with
better.
you.
It doesn't have that
It's
bite
not
at the end.
bitter. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Really good.
Oye, just to emphasize here, every time we have Zoom meetings, I'm going to throw her under the bus right now. Janet, tú también traes tu copa de
Oh,
vino.
heck yeah. I'm in
Somos bien vineras,
yes,
bien
I will
vineras.
have my
Y ella con
glass
su
of
agüita y
wine.
aquella con su
I'm
agüita.
drinking
Yeah.
water.
Pero aquí sí se defienden
Yeah.
muy bien. Thank you for this.
And,
You're
and this is
welcome.
such a great segue into
Yes.
alcohol.
Yes.
Exactly.
This is nice because you girls have daughters too. So, they can have a little fancy
bit of
wine with
it.
some
Yeah.
alcohol. So you
I
can
love
drink with your
that.
daughters.
They will feel very
Right.
special.
So
They will feel
cute.
very fancy.
Yeah, there we
Yes.
go.
And
Fancy
also
drink.
letting them know that they don't need to drink alcohol.
Yes,
That's,
exactly.
that's so important, right? To let them know that you do not need
You
to
know what?
drink.
I love that you bring that up. I didn't
Yeah.
start to drink wine until past my 30s. And that was like social wine and fiestas aquí allá. Ya agarré la botella más serio, I want to say until my 40s because I went through insomnia and just motherhood, man. It was
Yes.
taking a toll on me. I needed my freaking wine every night to unwind because it was very hard for me to fall asleep. So I started to drink my wine in the evenings around 6 o'clock just to kind of like, prepare me for relaxation. But I
take off the edge.
Totalmente.
That's what the mom says.
But it
Taking off the
really,
edge.
that happened in my 40s. So tengo una década dándole duro a la botella. No, but you know
okay.
what? I love that we're talking about this.
It's a good subject.
Yeah, like how does alcohol affect our gut health?
That's a great question.
Right?
That's a very great question. And some people don't like the answer. So here we're going to get into what the alternatives are, though. And so it really comes down to gut health responding to the top most inflammatory things, which is alcohol, corn, soy, seed oils, and gluten. So these are the main top inflammatory things that we can introduce to our body. And the thing is that alcohol is very much like if you're drinking a bottle of chemicals, because unfortunately in the United States, we just like to have a lot of chemicals thrown into our food system, our drinking water, and our alcohol. So if you are going to drink alcohol, it would be actually best to drink alcohol that's from Europe. There is organic. So like this brand, you can find at Iriwan. So it's available in local places like in LA. But there's options. And that's what you want to know is that your drinks are not being sprayed with glyphosate. Glyphosate is the number one pesticide being sprayed in our food, alcohol, and severely in beer. So that's why a lot of men that tend to drink have those big bellies.
I always wonder, like,
Yeah.
what is that? It's not fat, right?
No,
¿Qué es?
that is inflammation.
Wow.
That inflammation is coming systemically within the gut and the liver. So our liver is our main filter, and that filter has to push out toxins. And if you are constantly in a state of inflammation, it's not able to do that in the way it needs to. So this is where people get into a chronic state of inflammation. And that's why we want to reduce the things that cause the inflammation. So we really want to dive into going back to what we were meant to eat. Natural foods, organic foods. Unfortunately, society now, we have a lot of processed foods. And the number one thing that contributes to these processed foods is seed oils. And seed oils, it was explained to me like this. There was a nutritionist of the Lakers and the trainer talking about what is the worst of three evils. Is it alcohol? Is it smoking? Or is it seed oils? And she said, well, if you stop drinking alcohol, your liver will start to heal, regenerate as soon as you stop drinking. Smoking, same thing. Your lungs will start to heal, regenerate. And for seed oils, it's actually encapsulating your cells. So we have these powerhouse cells that are called the mitochondria. And the mitochondria is our energy cell that is producing our whole body's energy throughout the day. So it is essential for brain health, gut health, recovery, sleep. And what seed oils does is it actually creates this like coating over it, and it stays around the cell for 90 days.
Wow. The mitochondria.
Yeah.
That term, I haven't said it since high school.
Yes,
Biology.
exactly. Yes,
Biology.
exactly.
I'm like,
Thinking of
mitochondria. I'm following along. See our memories
I'm
at 50?
imagining the little picture, the diagram.
con los pelitos.
Yeah, the little pelitos.
Oh, yeah.
See, we know our stuff, girl. Chocolate. Our memories are still sharp. Hey,
We're not getting buzzed because this is all natural.
Exactly.
We're actually paying attention. So,
Yes.
okay, this is very interesting. Continue.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these seed oils, imagine if you're constantly eating food that has seed oils, you're going to have constant inflammation.
What are those foods? Like, what are the foods that people are most commonly eating with seed oils?
So top food is going to be like anything with canola, vegetable oils, sunflower oil, safflower oil,
And Any seed oil.
Like chips.
Any seed oil. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why all those oils are not good to cook with.
Exactly.
El otro día Omar, I know I'm going to talk about him again. He always says, you need to start
Throw him
paying
under the
me.
bus.
He makes an amazing dish. It's like a chicken with, it's like an Asian dish. Pero pollito con vegetales and queda bien rico. But then I saw the bottle. And I shouldn't have seen the bottle because
The vegetable oil.
canola oil. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, no manches. Yo que tengo mi avocado oil aquí que pago, pues, it's not cheap. But I get it at Costco, so para que no me duela tanto. But I saw that it was canola oil. Was it canola or sunflower? It was one of those two. Y me acuerdo que le dije, how do I tell him without like being too
Throw it
judgy?
away. Throw it away.
I should have thrown it away, pero todavía tenía la mitad. Entonces me le dije, you use this for that dish that we've been enjoying for the last 5 years? Because it's one of the girls' favorite dish.
Yeah.
Y me dice, es lo que le da el sabor.
Oh.
¿Cómo le digo a mi esposo? How do I tell him that oil is one of the unhealthiest?
You just have to tell him.
Yeah.
So I do not know how to tell him.
Yes.
You want me to tell him? I don't have an issue.
He's like, Hannah. Yeah, his doctor can tell him.
So, and this is the biggest thing that affects our Latin community, right? Because what's constantly in the kitchen?
Mazola.
Oil.
We grew up with mazola
Yes.
manteca, pero más
Yes.
mazola.
See, so it's not causing any type of benefit to our health. It is causing chronic inflammation, and it's a cheap oil, which is why it's readily available. And unfortunately, when you go to restaurants, it's mostly what they're using in the restaurants. So it's come to a point where when I got on this journey, I was in English class and my English teacher was not teaching me English.
High
She was
school?
in college. She was teaching us how to reverse type 2 diabetes and how to live in the moment. She suffered from lupus.
Okay.
And so that's what like fascinated me about organic, because I went to Los Angeles Mission College and played volleyball there, and they had an amazing culinary program and they just had amazing food. And she was the one that orchestrated all of the healthy ingredients. And she was just talking about how these foods cause chronic state of inflammation. And specifically within the Latin community, that's why it is severely like type 2 diabetes, overweight, because that is what we grow up using in our kitchen. So I remember when I was telling my mom, like, okay, we gotta stop shopping at Vallarta el Super. Sorry, like it's where we're comfortable shopping, but it just the quality. So she was like, okay, let's go to Trader Joe's, and I was so excited. I was like, yes, we're gonna go to Trader Joe's. I've never been here, and it was just educating. Okay, how do you read the labels? And at one point my mom said, okay, you're telling me I can't eat this, I can't eat that. What can I eat?
Se frustró.
See, and I put myself in her situation. I was like, you're right. Like I'm telling her, Mom, don't do this, don't do that. But what's the alternative?
Right.
So really I had to go shopping. I had to say, okay, these are the recipes that we're used to making. Now we make healthy swaps. So now that we've gotten used to this, I mean, even my dad is just an amazing chef. I tell him we should open his own restaurant all the time because he's just like got it all down and using all like, oh, can't use that. Sandy says it's not good. We got to get this. And so,
awesome.
yeah, it's amazing. But it's just the power of knowledge and educating what you can have and what you can't have. And you feel that difference. The moment you start cooking healthy, you don't want to eat anything else. So we actually don't eat out as much anymore. And I'm actually very picky about where I eat out because it just comes to the point where I eat out, I don't feel good after. So why am I going to waste my money?
You feel bloated.
And
Yeah.
food is your medicine.
Yeah. So there's an app called Seed Oil Scout.
Oh, okay.
And Seed Oil Scout will show you if you should dine fearlessly, happily, or cautiously.
Oh my gosh.
And so it'll show you the restaurants nearby, and it'll say if they use seed oils or not, or if they offer alternatives, if they use grass-fed finished meats.
How do they know? Like,
Organic.
did they actually investigate the restaurants?
Yeah, so there's actually even a template for restaurants that are not on the app yet, and you can send them a pre-written message asking for the information, and they respond, and then they add it onto the app.
Oh, so you don't have to feel like a Karen at the restaurant and be
Exactly.
like, what kind of oil
Yeah.
you use? Because I always hate asking.
You do that?
Okay, that's
Is
no,
that
I
national?
don't necessarily do that. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no.
So yes, to answer your question, it is national, and so it's very easy to maneuver once you get used to it. Of course, in LA, you can see a lot more options.
Sí.
Specifically when you get to like Beverly Hills, Culver City,
Right.
but it's out there. We just have to know where it is, what we can do to educate ourselves about picking better options for our food and then feeling that difference.
Wow.
And what a difference that is, right? It's just...
It truly is. I mean, it's just, it affects your energy, your mood, your digestion, and you want to actually feel good eating and not have all those symptoms, right? And that's the number one complaint that I get. Sandy, I get bloating, I get stomach pain, I'm constipated. And it's like, okay.
Well, I was going to ask, so because we were talking about a lot of women, especially middle-aged women, talk about la panza. Like everybody has that gut, the there's different names for it, the fupa. And this, is it a lot, does it have a lot to do with inflammation? And I ask from my own personal experience, because I feel like ever since I changed my diet, my stomach is flat now. And I didn't used to have that, no matter how many sit-ups I did or how much I was portion controlling and meal prepping and everything. And it's like I stopped eating certain foods and my stomach is flat
Like
for the
what
first
foods?
time ever.
What foods?
For me, it was getting rid of processed foods,
Okay.
breads. Like I know it was like I kept getting bloated. I'd go to a restaurant and the first thing that they would, when you go to a restaurant, they give you bread.
Same.
So I'd go for the bread. And then by the time my main course would come, I was already bloated. And I'd walk out of a restaurant looking like I was 5 months pregnant every single
And maybe
time.
maybe you were 5 months pregnant.
Not that many times. Not that many times.
Yeah, because
and
one
so,
thing is
yeah.
to feel bloated and one thing is to feel full because maybe we overate. Because I know
Yeah.
that when I love a dish a lot, I put un poquito más.
Sí.
But it's a very different feeling.
Yeah, no, for
Bloatedness
me,
is
it was like
very
how I
noticeable.
looked and how I felt. And so one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to not touch the bread anymore. Like that's where it's kind of started, like little steps. So to me, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to eat the bread anymore when they bring the bread basket.
But you love bread.
I do love bread. It's
So do I.
definitely something that I love. And it's not, like I said, it's not a diet. Like, I just don't eat carbs. No, it's just how I felt and how I looked. And so I eliminated bread. I stopped eating the pasta. So I don't even go to Italian restaurants anymore because I'm like, I can't eat the pasta because it's, or I mean, if I really want, I will. But anyways.
I have to take enzymes
But yeah.
in order for me to be able to eat
Yeah.
gluten.
Yeah.
I have to take enzyme pills. So I pop 1 or 2 pills and
Before dinner?
right before the bite, the meal.
Yes.
Literally right before you take that bite of that bread or that pizza or pasta,
Yeah.
I just pop in 2 enzyme pills. Have you heard of that?
I have.
People just taking
I was
those
gonna say,
enzymes.
yes.
So is that
I
what it
have.
is? Gluten? Like, is that the inflammation that I'm getting and that maybe other women are getting? Because I feel like that's a big complaint from women is that they have that stomach area.
It definitely is. And to answer your question, yes, it's all about the food, right? Because gluten is, again, one of the top inflammatory foods. And the thing is that gluten is whole wheat. And the whole wheat is what has that gluten enzyme. And this is a crop that is heavily sprayed with pesticides. So this is where we get that chronic inflammation. So these pesticides, it's actually meant for the bug to ingest, and then it'll make it explode from the gut out. We're not little bugs, though. Right. So obviously we're eating and we're not going to explode at those tiny amounts, but it's going to cause chronic inflammations. And over time, it's going to cause these issues like, unfortunately, like we're seeing a lot of more colon cancer in younger people.
That's what I've
And
heard.
this definitely is being a big role from these chemicals being sprayed on our foods. So for the gluten, yes, you're taking out one of the top inflammatory foods. And that's why you hear commonly if you eat like pastas or breads, when people go to Europe, I didn't have any reaction.
Right.
I can eat it there
Right.
because they don't do any of those chemicals on the foods.
Yeah.
So for you to enjoy Italian food again, I highly
I'm
recommend
going to go to Italy.
you check. Yeah, Italy for
I'm
sure.
going to go on vacation.
Italy for
You
sure.
want to live there? Don't you want to retire
Yes,
there?
I do.
Yeah.
But there's a great restaurant called Pasta in Agora Hills, and they import their flours from Italy, and they make homemade pasta and bread
that's
and everything.
wonderful.
And I don't have any issues eating that.
I had homemade pasta on Friday. We went to somebody's house and we made pasta and I had some.
I saw
and
it
I didn't
already.
get bloated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
ves?
go.
Homemade.
Yes.
I also heard for bread because we all want
We
bread.
love
And
bread.
what's
Quiero
our
pan.
alternative,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But I've heard sourdough, and I
Yes.
saw like a documentary or something of the sort. In Italy, that is the type of bread that is readily available because
Yes.
of the enzymes that
The
sourdough
yeast,
has.
right? The
I
fermentation.
love sourdough bread.
Yeah.
And there's
My favorite.
wheat sourdough bread at Trader Joe's, which I love.
Yeah.
Tell me it's a good one.
And to have to see the seed oils if there's any
Okay.
on
I
there.
have to see. We got to do our research still.
Yeah.
So
right?
to answer your question about specifically like sourdough. Yes, if you're having a sourdough, that fermentation, it's sitting there, that sour taste that it gives is the fermentation eating the gluten away. So there's still small amounts of gluten, but it's just not as high. And again, if it's still not an organic base, it can still affect people. So really when, like Mindy mentioned about the enzymes, yes, that's going to help you break down gluten. But that is something that I see commonly an issue when I do run GI map tests. So these are stool tests. People do a test at home. You collect your own stool. You place it in the sample packaging and deliver.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's quite a process.
Omar did it.
Yeah.
She's seen my husband's poop.
Well, I got the report.
that.
I got the report.
True.
But yes, you have to collect your own sample. It comes with everything you need, though. And it will show a part if you are gluten sensitive. And usually this is an issue for most people. So typically what I say is you want to remove it. And once we see, retest, if it's not an issue, we've gotten that marker down, then we can start incorporating more homemade sourdoughs or gluten-free sourdoughs, which I actually love gluten-free sourdough from one of the farmers market in Calabasas. It tastes so good. So again, if you're able to like just find the right alternative and not taste the difference, that's what makes it easier. And that's where nutrition doesn't have to be these crazy diets, these crazy ways of, because food is medicine and you want to feel good eating your food. And so you just got to make sure you're using better quality ingredients.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things I loved about Dr. Sandy's practice is that you run a test on people that I've never seen before. And it was a test where I put my hand on this little machine, and in a matter of minutes, this machine literally showed me what foods don't like my body, don't serve my body well. And it's so interesting because as much as I love the taste of quinoa, salads, you know, me encanta el sabor. But every time I eat it, which I had to stop eating it because I would not be able to sleep because I literally had like, me están golpeando, like these awful pains. I'm like, why? And I would just, it's the quinoa, la mendiga quinoa.
Oh, no.
But I never knew why until this test with Sandy. Me dijo, there are foods, and everybody's different, obviously.
Yes.
But there's going to be foods that your body's going to love, and there are foods that your body's going to hate.
Yeah.
And quinoa is one of those foods for me. I cannot. I love the taste, but my body can't take it. I cut it out. I had to. I had no choice. It's either that or suffering every time.
For me, it's frijoles.
No!
I know. I can't eat frijoles en la olla.
Creo.
So there's a good way, like if you're going to have these grains, they have a protective mechanism. And that in nature, like if you were not in this society, if you ate something and you said, oh, my stomach hurt right after that, you would think, okay, I'm not going to eat that, right? But we have so many different things and we don't have that intuition as much anymore. So it's a protective mechanism from rice, beans, quinoa, oats, so that they actually don't get consumed. And so the way that you break that barrier is I heard this term is like quita los pedos. And you use an Instapot. Instapot,
That's
pressure
what I heard.
cooking it is going to break that barrier down so that you can easily digest it. Or you soak the grains overnight the day before.
So I can do that with quinoa.
Remove the starches?
Yeah.
What is that process?
Is that the lectin? Is that anything
Exactly.
to do with
That
lectin?
has to do with lectins.
Got
so
it.
you're breaking
Okay.
up that barrier so it becomes more open so that you're actually able to digest it. And I don't know if you've seen the seeds. There's certain ones that say they're sprouted seeds.
I never understood that term.
Same thing. You're soaking them and then you're opening up that barrier so they become easily digested.
Oh my gosh, that's what it means. Because I see red, like sprouted, not sprouted. Well, what's the difference?
What's
I'll just
better?
know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
What would be better, Sandy? Sprouted?
Sprouted, yeah. So if you have the time, you can buy it. Sprouted tends to be a little bit more costly, not that much, but if you have the time and you are going to be able to soak before cooking, then you can just do that, or you buy the sprouted.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it.
Dr. Sandy. So Argelia brought up a test that I'm actually more curious about.
Yes.
I wonder what the science is behind that. Like how is a machine able to, find all of those items from that? How does that work?
So it is called a biocommunication scan. We are all energetic beings. We all have frequencies. We are surrounded by frequencies and different energies of people, things. And so I like to explain it as a lie detector test. You put your hand on that metal when they're asking the questions, and it's picking up when you're lying because it's getting all those radars of the energy, like, oh, your nervous system's going up.
So the temperature of our bodies too.
Yeah, exactly. So this cradle is picking up on those frequencies under your skin. And the computer is getting a question sent and then receiving that from your body. So what we end up seeing is a list of stressors. It's going to go over organs, glands, and systems that are affected, your vertebra, and the vertebra has a lot to do with our nervous system because these is where the nerves come out and innervate the organs, and then it tells the organs how to properly function. And we see teeth biomarkers because everything in the body is connected. And in Chinese medicine, we actually have this concept where there's meridian points, there's trigger points, reflexology points, so that you're activating certain areas of the body. And it will also show brain chemicals, neurotransmitters, and this is really helpful. I get a lot of parents that bring in kids for ADHD, autism, or people that suffer from a lot of anxiety, depression. It'll show these brain chemicals that are imbalanced, and we want to just create balance back within so that our brain, which is our commander-in-chief, it feels safe, it's functioning optimally. And lastly, it'll show your emotions. So it is that in-depth as to emotions can also affect our health chronically. It can stem into different organs. I actually used to suffer from ovarian cyst. And when I got my ovarian cyst, it was actually after I lost a puppy. And so when I looked up the emotional tie to an ovarian cyst, it is grief. It is grieving. Wow. And it takes 9 months for a cyst to actually go away on its own if you have that mental, physical connection being healed properly. So I got an ultrasound again. I don't have it anymore.
That's great.
But that's where one of the connections are. So emotions, we want to see if that's also manifesting into chronic diseases for people. And on that stressor report, it's going to show, again, these areas highlighted that are affected, but it's going to show what's affecting it. And that's where chemicals, heavy metals, water contaminants, endocrine disruptors are going to be the triggers for people. So I never know what I'm going to get. It's very individualized, but it's very thorough. And honestly,
What is it called?
It is called a Zytoscan. It is a biocommunication scan.
Zytoscan.
And this is not like a typical allergy test.
No.
Where they test you for like food allergies
that's
on your
what I
arms
knew.
and the back.
Yeah.
I knew blood tests, right? Like a blood
exactly.
test or maybe,
This is not a blood
They
test.
prick it. So this is different, but it nails it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's accurate. It's scary
It's
accurate.
really accurate.
The reason why I know why it's accurate, because how is she going to know about my history with quinoa?
Yes.
My history with kale. It's another lettuce that I love because of the crunchiness.
Did the wine come out on that report?
No,
like
thank
too much
God.
wine?
Thank God, no salió el vino.
Allergic
Creo
to
que
grapes?
salió un vino blanco, no me acuerdo
Yeah.
cuál.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Salió un tipo de vino, but no.
So it did?
No,
Even the wine comes out.
I was like,
Really?
okay, Sunny doesn't know that I have bloatedness or pains after I eat quinoa and kale salads, and there was something else that
Interesting.
that I don't like that came up on the list. I'm like, wow, I was blown away. And thanks to that test, I've been more mindful of the products that I consume.
Yeah.
You know,
And it just shows you, right? Like education, like listen to your body. What are you feeling after you eat certain things?
Yes.
You actually know. We just don't want to admit it.
Exactly.
But you can see that. So
That's your first level of awareness. right?
yes.
But
yeah.
not only that, but would you girls agree that back in the day, growing up, we just thought it was normal? Like, you know that Mexican food?
Yeah.
Growing up? I thought bloating and feeling,
Yes.
Uncomfortable.
and like in a comatose, that was normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody goes through that. Yeah, not until
Pero
way
ahí porque,
later. Yeah.
Pero ahí era porque we want seconds because we just love the food so much. Y luego, aquí no hay perros ni gatos, se coman todo el plato.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
grew up
it's-
like, you don't leave leftovers.
You don't leave leftovers.
That costs money.
Yeah.
There's starving kids in Africa. You better finish your
Yes.
plate.
Exactly.
So we overstuffed our faces sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. I think that's why we felt that way. But I honestly think that back then, we were eating a little bit more healthier because maybe the foods weren't as processed as they are now. I mean, we grew up in the 80s.
Yes, it is
margarine
true.
was in. We
Yeah.
didn't. If you were in Mexico, then things were organic. Yeah, like my grandma
Yes.
Yeah.
lived until her late 90s, and that's because she was raising our own chickens.
Everything was farm to
organic.
table.
No, yo a comprar la carne en la carnicería y la vaca la acaban de matar
Es
en la
lo que digo
mañana.
yo, farm to table. Las tortillas hechas a mano, todos
Yeah.
los frijoles ese día.
Sí.
Everything was farm to
Yes,
table.
yes, yes.
We were eating
what it was.
organic before it was
It wasn't
organic
even
was cool.
farm. It was like the backyard of my grandma.
Exactly. That's what I
Thank you.
mean. That's what I
Like when you
mean.
mentioned you shop at farm, ¿cómo se llama?
Farmers markets.
You shop at farmers markets.
I do. And it's been honestly life-changing because you get it fresh. Like actually when you're getting stuff at the grocery store, it's traveling for long periods of time. So that's why like if you get your berries, they go bad fast. You got to eat those things fast.
The raspberries for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And so I actually go to the Studio City Farmers Market, and there's no egg shortage over there. I'll say that. And the eggs are not even fed any corn or soy. And you taste the difference there too. So you really want to get organic pasture raised from these farmer market eggs with no corn or soy fed, because again, those are one of the top inflammatory foods. And recently, within the last year, I've been also buying from a regenerative farm. And the regenerative farm, it's called Buy Ranch Direct in Studio City. And it's a local farm in Huntington Beach. And they source everything organically. Like they actually treat soil the way it should be, not sprayed with any chemicals. The animals are humanely treated. And I can tell you, like, that's one of the reasons as well that I don't eat out anymore, because you taste the difference in the meat. And I mean, it's just better cooking at home now.
Yes.
You feel good eating that. So this really like mass production of chemicals in the food system amped up in the 90s. It was like, all right, how can we sell more and more and more food and get it to the consumer faster?
Sweet.
And when you're spraying these chemicals, I mean, just like when you see meats that are treated with antibiotics, everything's getting grown faster, produced faster, but at what
And
cost?
also not going bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're
Longer
eating
shelf
all those
time.
antibiotics. They're going into our bodies as well.
Yeah, so there's a doctor I know where she actually bought a burger patty from McDonald's, and that thing has not rotten for the last 3 years.
Oh, I think I
so
saw that. Was it the
scary.
one that put it in a little baggie in a plastic
Yeah,
bag?
there's other people that have done. Yeah, exactly,
Oh,
just
my
like that. So
goodness.
just think about that. If it's
Why?
not breaking down out,
Why?
it's not breaking down in. And this
your
is
gut.
where, yeah.
Oh,
So how do we release it from our bodies, though?
So we want to detoxify. So this is where that term leaky gut comes in.
Which is what Omar has
Yes.
or had.
Yes.
Because he's been treating it.
Yes. So we think about the gut as a cement wall with bricks, right? Everything is put together with the cement. And there's a protective mechanism so nothing comes out of the walls. Everything's just passing through that needs to get out. And what tends to happen, though, is when we get exposed to these chemicals, heavy metals, water contaminants, it starts to latch onto the wall and it starts to break that wall down. And now where the wall should be closed, where that cement wall, like the cement should be for those bricks, it starts to open. And things that should be passing as feces actually is now going through the bloodstream, going to our organs, coming out as the skin. So
Wow.
it is wreaking havoc in our systems. So what we want to do is go back to eating healthy foods, things that are not disrupting that barrier, seed oils, corn, alcohol, and gluten. And you want to treat the barrier. So there's things like aloe vera, there's things like called L-glutamine that repair that gut barrier so that you're not having those issues.
So there is a solution.
So there is a solution.
Ay, qué bueno.
As long
Yeah.
as we can find the root cause of what the health ailment is coming from, we can tackle it naturally. And that's why that biocommunication tool that I have in my office is so nice, because it really pinpoints for people like what is going on right now and how can we help it. Because the first report that I mentioned, it was a stressor report, right? It's showing what is affecting your body and where. And then we're looking at a balancer report, and the balancer report will show the top 10 supplements best for your body and 5 services and therapies that are best for your body. So that can be like chiropractic care, acupuncture, reflexology, massage. So really finding like what energy is going to soothe your body or what your body really wants best to heal. And lastly was that food report that Argelia's talking about. It shows all the foods that are biologically best for your body, because food is energetic too. So when and the list of foods that you can't have is way longer than what you can't have. So I tell people not to be so discouraged.
Scared.
Literally, it's like probably a paragraph size of foods that you can't eat. But that's where our microbiome, our gut health will really grow if we introduce new foods constantly, because the fruit of the vegetables and the skin of the vegetables, and the skin of the fruit will introduce new bacteria to our gut, and that's how it thrives.
Yeah.
And that's how it's best to eat in season for us, because we're constantly introducing something new.
You know, I have a question related to all of us that are starting this journey, right?
Yes.
Like, and so we know those indicators that have maybe made us feel, you know, differently or bloated us or whatever it is, but we can't pinpoint it exactly to one food or one ingredient. Where do we start? How do we start this journey? Do we start step by step? Do we just dive right in? And also for those people that don't have access to this, you know, to this machine, you know, is this something that I can go to my regular doctor and ask about? So where do I start?
So I wish that medicine can be different, where people can actually have this type of care accessible, and that all doctors treat it like this, because our society would just be so different.
You're talking about conventional medicine.
Conventional
Western medicine,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
Yes, I think that's where it starts, because we should be getting these answers from our doctors.
Yeah.
But
Doctors.
they don't study nutrition.
They don't study that,
No.
or they don't want to know the holistic side, which is functional medicine, which is what
Exactly.
you
So-
practice.
The best way I tell people is to test and not guess. You want to know what exactly is going on, because then we can tackle it with specific things that are going to help it. And so in this GI map test, this stool test, that's where I tell people to start. And it's just also that confirmation of you seeing what exactly is affecting your gut health. Because then you're more motivated. You're like, whoa, that's a mess. I got to fix that. And honestly, that's where I start most people. Let's get your test results, and then we can go from there. I did a test for my mom. Then she took it to her primary care in Kaiser. And she was just, I told her, Mom, you're not going to get anything. Like, they're not going to understand it. She's like, no, let me see. And I said, okay. She comes home and she said, the doctor looked at it and I don't know what to do with this.
Wow, literally.
Literally
Yeah.
said, I
Literally.
don't know what to do with this.
Literally.
That is incredible.
And so what they'll tend to do is, if you see bacteria, if you see something that shouldn't be, usually they'll test like maybe parasites, H. pylori, but they'll do antibiotics. But the thing about antibiotics, there is a time and place for it. Don't get me wrong, especially if people have chronic symptoms. But they'll typically do antibiotics, and it's going to kill the bad bacteria and the good bacteria. So you're causing other issues, and it's not solving the root cause.
It's like
of
a
the issue.
vicious cycle that's going back and forth. Where
Yes.
You're trying to,
Yes.
Now, can you talk to us about like the gut-brain connection? Because I know that there's a direct connection to that.
Yes.
Right?
Well, they say that the gut is our second brain for a reason.
It is. So our gut is the second brain. It also has 80% of our immune system. And this is connected via a vagus nerve. There's a vagus nerve that runs through our body that connects to our gut and to our brain. And so this is why if we have leaky gut, they say you can have leaky brain, or it can be a brain issue causing a gut issue, or vice versa. So I'll typically ask people too if they've suffered any type of head injuries, because concussions cause inflammation and it'll disrupt the gut health. People who have had any type of trauma, they can have inflammation within the brain as well. Not something to be concerned or alarmed, but if you've seen the movie Concussion with Will Smith, they are dissecting these brains and they're seeing all this trauma that is happening to the players and how it's changed their brain drastically, and they're so young.
I'm happy you bring that up, because I know she's watching this episode right now. I'm not going to say her name, but she's one of my cousins, and her son is an amazing football player, all high school star. And she did reach out to me like a month ago saying, can you help me find care or a doctor? Because everywhere I take my son for these massive headaches, they don't find a thing. Like, they say there's nothing wrong. They don't find something. But I'm like, there's got to be something, because he's suffering. He can't sleep. It's this massive headache. It's disrupting his life. So I even thought, oh my gosh, maybe I will like contact Children's Hospital, because, you know, they treat a lot of these cases, but it might be related to this.
Yes. And honestly, that's what got me so passionate about this field. Someone in my family started having seizures at a young age. And I witnessed them, and I went through anxiety really, really bad during this time. And the doctors ran every test, didn't find a thing, thankfully, but it didn't give us answers. So the doctors said, okay, well, they've had more than one, it's going to be diagnosed as epilepsy. They got to be on this medication for the rest of their life. And I was in this journey of listening to my teacher of fixing the body holistically. And I was at this appointment with my family, and they said, we are not going to do that because the person that was having the seizures was young, 13 years old, playing soccer. And basically the medication was going to turn off certain parts of the brain, make them slow. And the doctor said they might not be playing soccer. And so that wasn't a good enough answer. So we dove into holistic doctors, naturopathic, homeopathic, functional medicine, chiropractors. What did we not do? But we found the answers. And their specific trigger was low cortisol in the morning when they should be having high cortisol, and low blood sugar. So not having enough energy to sustain the brain to function the body. So this person would have a seizure 30 minutes to an hour upon awakening.
Wow.
And we started seeing the pattern was, okay, didn't get enough sleep that night, didn't eat enough protein throughout the day. And that's how we figured it out. And now that person has gone the longest 18 months without a seizure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I do get parents bringing in their kids now for the same issues.
And that was just a change of diet?
That's just a change of
Change
diet.
of diet.
Seeing how can we support the body to balance blood sugar, manage cortisol levels. I mean, teenage years is a big time of change for people. So there's a lot of things that are going on. My sister used to suffer from really bad headaches too. It's all hormonal. It's all gut related. So if you're finding the issue, you can tackle it holistically, naturally. And that's the beautiful thing about functional medicine and why I treat every person on the other side of the table like they were my family. Because it's hard. Like they come and they're like, I've gone to X, Y, and Z doctors and I can't find answers. And I want to share this powerful story from one of my patients because the uncle made an appointment for his niece. And she was just having trouble breathing, not sleeping, not eating, constantly nauseous. Luckily, they looked me up or they looked up holistic doctor in the area and I popped up. I told them about my scan. We'll do it. They came in and the girl was having allergic reactions to all these plants and things in their home or like around their home. And so I told them, okay, this is obviously a trigger. It's hard to manage because that's where you live. But if you have somewhere else to go right now, you need this time to stay away while you heal. So they said, okay, we can leave her with her brother. And the next day, the uncle calls me and says, she can eat. She's not feeling nauseous. She's not having headaches. She slept.
Wow.
Just changing the location?
Yes.
Just the location.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because not only
Environment.
is it food related, it's our environment.
Yeah.
Mold toxicity. That's a big one. Heavy metals, water contaminants. So these are things that affect people chronically. So you want to be able to know how to swap these things out too, right? Having water filtration systems, air filters. It's really a whole body approach with functional medicine and holistic medicine. It's not just saying this is what, like foods, it's a lifestyle. Like what else are you exposed to that is entering the body and causing all these imbalances?
See.
And this goes hand in hand with Western medicine too, because like what you just mentioned and all the symptoms, I mean, those are allergic reactions, and they also have like stressors, and they have a way to check.
Right.
But it's applying those findings and making sure that all of the things are checked and not just on a small list. But I mean, if somebody's not breathing correctly, I mean, they should probably go to the hospital too, Right.
And that's the thing, that they're going to give you these antihistamines, right? Benadryl, Zyrtec, some type of
I was about to say that.
steroid. And the doctor will never ask you though, hey, what'd you eat today? What was your meal, right? Like
walk me through it.
Walk me through your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How does your poop look? Like
They're never going to ask.
Yeah.
You've mentioned heavy metals. Where are heavy metals found?
It
In
can
what
be
foods?
it can be mostly rooted foods like beets, carrots, potatoes. Those are the most common, but heavy metals can also be in our water system. And so there's multiple areas, and that's why we want to find out where is your exposure coming from, right? And there's ways to help detoxify the body in a safe way to do that and support it. So that's where we want to know, where's your trigger coming from? Food, environmental. It can be either one. And the biggest thing is what I see, women mostly, right? And unfortunately, we expose ourselves to way more chemicals than
With
the men.
makeup, huh?
Yes. I
So
mean,
many. Anything that touches our skin,
That's right.
we're absorbing.
I
right?
cannot walk into a Sephora.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
you don't have teens. Thank God.
Yes.
We have teens, and that's the first place
Yes,
we want to
Sephora.
run to.
So true.
But you're right.
Yeah.
The
But-
chemicals in that place, and we wear them, and we allow our children because
Yep.
they're
Yes.
so young, right?
Because our skin is our largest organ. It's going to absorb anything you put on it. So, I mean, it's toxicity everywhere. It's crazy. And that's why you want to know, where can you have cleaner options, right? It's not like you have to give up all these things. You just got to know, where's the alternative? Where's
it-
the swap?
Only in the U.S. though, like the makeup in the U.S. So if I move to Europe, see, just another excuse.
Yeah, no, really. No,
Sephora
honestly,
had all the
Yeah.
same makeup as
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm wondering. Like, if it's a European, is it better to wear that kind of makeup?
Yeah, they're not. They don't pass as many chemicals as we
Right.
do. Like, the number is outrageous. I don't remember the exact number, but it is outrageous how many chemicals are allowed safely in the United States versus Europe or other countries.
Yeah, I think it's like over 2,000 that they allow in the U.S.
Yes.
And I think it's 200 to 300
Yep.
that they allow
Yeah, in Europe.
in European standards. So yeah, that is very true. We allow way more toxic.
But that's awful. Why aren't we fighting? Well, why?
Because we don't know about
Aren't
it.
we
don't. We
outraged?
don't know. I know. But
yeah, that's part of the FDA. And the FDA right now is just
they need
not,
to gut that FDA.
It's
Well, they will.
Where's Musk when we need him with FDA?
No. Oh my God, no. No, there's rhyme and reason to things, but they do have to look at all of these items, especially in the beauty industry. And the problem is that we have lobbyists, right?
Yeah.
And lobbyists across centuries, not centuries, but decades.
See.
You know, in every administration, these lobbyists are the ones that are fighting for these things to be maintained, so
because
that
it's a
products
business.
can
It's a
The
business.
makeup
It's a
industry is a business. The food is
Yes,
it's a business.
But we're changing that.
And
changing that.
Western medicine, as much as I know what I'm going to
yes.
say, I might get heat, but
Right.
I almost feel that this country or Western medicine wants us to be sick.
Yes.
They want us to be sick because when we get sick, what? Pharmaceutical industry kicks in
That's
because
right.
that's where the money's at.
Profits.
Insurances, todo es dinero. ¿Y
Yeah.
quién sufre? Nosotros.
Sí.
Pero
Yes.
tenemos la culpa because our wallet, we're the ones putting our hand in our wallet and
Yeah.
buying these products.
Well, we're not fighting for it either. We're just taking
Well, there
it.
are entities. I mean, I know that there's makeup and that say animal free, cruelty free,
Yeah.
something paraben free. I can't even
Paraben free,
There we go.
like,
So there
sulfate free.
are products
Hair
that
products.
are doing things. I just
Yeah.
feel like in the end, I'm going to say something, Sandy, and you correct me if I'm wrong. It's more expensive. You want to go organic? It's more expensive. You want to go makeup that's cruelty free, animal free, paraben free, whatever? It's more expensive. And in the end, la vida es tan cara. You're like, well, am I going to spend this much on this lipstick or on this one? No, well, I'm going to go on this one. It comes down to money.
It is, but you know what? Either you pay it up front or you pay it later.
Yeah.
You know, with
Yeah.
the doctors
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
cancers and
Honestly, I haven't
fighting it.
found that like it's that drastic. To be honest, I don't find the difference that drastic.
Okay.
So, like, again, if you shop at farmers markets, like, you can get really good deals there versus the supermarket. Like, I mean, supermarket, they just upprice everything.
Oh my gosh, right now,
Yeah.
it's super
Yes.
expensive.
yeah.
Todo
Yeah.
carísimo.
Especially the eggs right now.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
goodness. I need
But
a
look
part-time
at
job for
farmers
that.
market.
Farmers
right
market.
there. There's no scarcity there.
We should do a Comadres like little trip at the farmers market, and then I'll show you
we
girls like
should.
where I get my stuff. It would be really good. But
Yes.
I wanted to touch back on the heavy metal because I think this is also something that is important because I talk to so many people about it. Heavy metals can also come from vaccinations, and so I am a victim of a vaccine injury. So I was actually switching from my pediatric doctor to Kaiser when I turned 18. They didn't have my medical records yet, but the doctor was like, hey, you know, you're at the age where you should probably get your tetanus shot again. And I grew up like, if you're not dying, you're not going to get medication. Let's give you tecitos and like ponte Vicks. You know, keep warm, tápate el pecho, la espalda, los pies.
pelo mojado.
No pelo mojado, sécatelo. Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up with that. And luckily, but I went to this doctor's appointment and I went alone, but I thought, okay, the doctor's telling me that I should get this shot. I should probably get it. Like, why not? It's a doctor.
And how old were you?
I was 18 years old.
18.
Yeah. But I had the worst feeling ever before getting that shot. And it was just like something telling me, don't get it. But I got it. A day or two later, I've never suffered from a seizure in my life. And I had a seizure.
Oh my
gosh.
I was getting ready to go in the showers, brushing my teeth over the sink. All of a sudden, I lost control of my body. I couldn't hold it up. My chin hit the sink. My head hit the toilet.
Oh my God.
I fell behind my shower and I was consciously convulsing. So what that is I was awake. I was aware of my body just plastered on the wall and shaking.
Oh my God.
And luckily nothing bad happened to me. I was home alone. But when I started seeing these doctors, that's when they said, yeah, that is the cause of
And can I ask you what vaccine that was?
it was a tetanus shot.
Tetanus shot.
Tetanus shot.
Yeah.
So I also work with a lot of pediatrics, and this is where, unfortunately, some of these kids are getting, before 2 years old, a crazy amount of vaccines.
Some of them are good. You know, there are some really good vaccines out there. We don't have polio anymore. We don't.
Some of them are good.
They are. They're the
Some, not all.
science behind it. But it doesn't. I'm like these. Sometimes it happens, but the majority of people don't have reaction.
Yeah, it's
You know?
eradicated
really
a lot of
important.
epidemics.
Yeah.
Well, I
Vaccines
never.
are very
I have to
important.
share this. I never vaxxed my daughter until she turned. I think she was probably 10 years old. She went her entire life with no vax because I read a lot. I took a deep dive, like you have, about vaccinations.
Yeah.
And what I did is, it's pros and cons.
Claro.
You outweigh.
Everything.
Right.
Okay, polio. Is she really going to catch polio?
Chicken
right?
pox.
Is she really? And the doctors are like,
Rubella.
well, no, not really. So because most people, herd immunity, right? And all this other
Right.
stuff. So I said, I'm going to pass on that. Now, my daughter went to a private school, so they didn't push the vaxes on you. But as soon as she entered public, she could not attend until I had all these other vaxes, like the MMR and all those other ones.
So how did you feel about that?
About having her vax?
Like you felt forced?
Well, because she didn't have all the... now, remember, kids are being triple vaxxed now, right?
Yes.
She knows this.
It's crazy.
It's crazy the stuff that they're injecting you. So you have to be careful.
It's not. I don't think it's crazy. There's a lot of things there that are really, really good for the kids. We also have to see like the science behind it. The science behind vaccines is there, and that's something that I want to be very clear. Like I think it's important that we yes, some people have reactions,
Yes.
but at that number, I don't know that number top of mind, but I know that it's a really, really minuscule number in comparison to the people that it is helping, and also our community and the world. We've eradicated a lot of disease because of these amazing vaccines that these scientists have produced. So while you're paying attention and everybody has a choice, we can't say that vaccines are not helpful.
Right.
That's why you have to trust.
Some vaccines I do believe are helpful. Me, I do. I'm like, these are good. And she had those. And then these, I asked questions to the doctor. Well, if she did catch this, is it life-threatening? No, it's not. You can just bring her back and we'll do this. Okay, then I'm going to skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It's
your
that
personal
simple,
choice.
Yeah.
See.
But not all vaccines are bad. But I'm saying how wonderful that we have a choice, and vaccines do cause damage to some kids.
To
right?
some people, like we saw the
people,
case with
exactly.
Sandy.
Yeah.
No, with me, I know this is a great topic to have in a different podcast because
Yes.
the whole vaccine has always been a controversial topic. Some people even blame autism because of vaccine. So
That's
we
been
can
debunked.
totally do a dive into that some other day. But for me, it's all about trusting your doctor. Who is your doctor? In my case, I con las manos cerradas, pediatrician for the girls, so I follow their guide. This is why they study. This is why they bust their brains in college, right? And stuff like that. You did too. And that's where I want to go. So we can, wrap up this episode. A lot of people, believe it or not, still don't know what functional medicine means, what holistic health means. Yes, we've been hearing a lot about it lately, more so than when I was growing up.
Yes.
And I've been doing my own research with books and obviously meeting people like you and other people that I've talked to on the show. But a lot of people still don't know the big difference between Western medicine, conventional medicine, and what you do. So just to kind of like bring everything back together, Sandy, what is the main difference between holistic, conventional medicine with Western?
So holistic is taking a whole body approach. You're taking in the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, all combined, and seeing what exactly is affecting that person. And so you want to come down to conventional medicine. It's just like band-aiding everything, right? They're going to, I mean, it's great. Again, there's a time and place for it. But it's just going to give you relief of symptoms. It's not going to cure the symptoms or manage the symptoms. In functional medicine, we are trying to find out where is the root cause coming from that's causing these imbalances within the body. And really deep dive, like I said, into, are you detoxifying daily? And that we do through urine, poop, and sweat. So a lot of people are having these issues, lymphatic system issues. So that's one way. When we also want to look at nutrition. What is the type of quality food? How many meals a day are you having? Sleep. Are you getting proper sleep? Do you have a routine? Are you exercising? So really taking in your day-to-day and giving you the optimal resources, tools to make the best choices to manage your health have a healthy lifestyle. So when we're doing functional medicine, again, we can test to find out what exactly is causing those gut issues, those hormone issues, those brain issues, and tackle that with natural supplementation and these lifestyle modifications. So it's, again, this whole body approach, and also talking about how do you feel, right? The nervous system is our biggest thing in the body. And I say that because it gives us a sympathetic response, which is called the fight or flight, or parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. And most people are living in that fight or flight mode because we are constantly go, go, go in society, right? We got to be here. We got to be there. You're eating on the road. Like, you're not even taking the time to sit down, chew your food, taste your food. You're just taking in something because you have to eat it.
You're just in a rush.
Yeah, and that affects digestion. It's not going to allow you to break down food
And we should
properly.
be able to enjoy our food, right?
Exactly.
And even the fact that we're sitting down and we're like rushing and we're looking at our emails and catching up on texts. Because I've been that person.
That is so true.
I've been that person.
I gotta say.
It's a little earlier
Well,
today.
yesterday was a tough day, and I literally was eating like super fast, and I was looking, and I said, Argelia, no, aventé el teléfono. I need a break. Can you at least enjoy your meal?
Yeah.
Because even rushing, ni siquiera sabes la comida, you're not even enjoying the moment, and food is so, it's sagrado,
Essential.
it's sacred, and we're not treating it with the respect because it literally is nourishing our body. So we're being so disrespectful at the beautiful plate with beautiful colors that's trying to nourish our body, but we're literally missing the point and the moment.
Everything's just fast, and go.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And you said something really important too, nourishing our body. And at our age, in our 40s, you're not there yet, but how important it is to eat good foods as we go through perimenopause and menopause. We need to nourish our bodies.
Yes.
And it's not about being skinny anymore. It's about being strong.
Strong over skinny.
We've been talking about
saying
that a lot, like choosing good food and organic food, the things that feed our body. But the other part, especially being in our 40s, is all the hormones that are changing, and also all of the things that are leaving our bodies, right? And so supplements, you mentioned supplements. That was another thing that I'm on this learning journey too, because there are things that leave our bodies. And so there are women's health, like women's supplements. So what is this something that we need as we enter this next stage of our lives?
Well, women, we are created to have insulation. That's why we have more body fat than men, because we want to support these hormones. So the best way is to eat good fat, eat protein. Like, honestly, that's the basics of it. And if you have a healthy gut, that's going to affect your hormones. So usually I always tackle gut health before I do hormones, because you have so many detoxification processes that affect your hormones, and it all stems from the gut and the liver. So for women, you want to have 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal.
Per meal.
So if you want to eyeball that, that's like the palm size of your hand. But you have to make sure that you're eating protein. That is the most important. And having an animal-based protein. You know, there's vegetarians out there, but I see that as like one of the things that affects fertility. Unfortunately, these women are not eating meat. And you're not getting all those nutrients that are only found in meat. And so when you're eating, your calditos, your pollos, with the organs, with the bones, like that is the best way to get those nutrients. That's natural collagen. You're eating full fat yogurt, full fat meats. Of course, like organic quality dairy.
I know that you said full fat yogurt. So we shouldn't be afraid of fat.
No.
I think that's one of the mistakes we've made.
Yeah.
People like,
the low fat.
I need to go to light. Like
Yes.
the cream cheese, I always get the light 1/3.
Right.
It's like,
Yes,
why?
yeah.
So I
We've
don't
all
feel
done
that
that.
guilty. But you're right. I think that the fat has gotten such bad rep.
Yeah.
And fat, good fat
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
what
good
we
fat.
need
Right.
to keep ourselves looking younger and healthier.
Yeah, that's the natural Botox is you're plumping yourself up with
Yes.
fats. Yeah. So the concept of eating good fats and having good protein is sustaining our muscles and giving us that natural effect of radiating healthiness, right? Like you are what you absorb and break down. So when we have those, like cooking with butter, that's the best way to soothe your gut lining because it has
That's what
enzymes.
I do every day.
So
the good butter.
I never used to eat butter. I never used to cook butter because I'm like, butter.
Yes,
It's fat,
yeah,
greasy.
fat,
Until she's like, Madrina, it's, first of all, it's amazingly tasty.
Yes.
But there is amazing. Don't be scared from butter. And ever since I went with you, I've been cooking with real butter.
Yeah,
Y
that's
sí cambia la diferencia.
Yeah,
and I'm
real
not scared
butter
of
has
it
made a
anymore.
difference.
I'm not scared.
I even put a little bit in my coffee.
Yes.
And of course I buy the best butter,
Yeah,
right?
organic, grass-fed.
Organic,
And that's where
grass-fed.
our brain
Yes.
is actually mostly fat. So that conception of, or
Spreads.
that concept of cholesterol's bad, actually, no, not really. Our brain needs fat. So of course you want to see, are you eating bad food that's affecting cholesterol or is it an autoimmune issue? Because sometimes things like Hashimoto's affecting the thyroid can overburden the liver and affect cholesterol. So there's a lot of multifactorial issues. But yes, in the end, you do want to have healthy fats. That's going to support our body and our brain.
Give us a list of healthy
Nuts.
fats so people know.
Yes.
Coming from you.
Yeah.
Coming
Oh,
from
yes.
Grass-fed organic butter.
you. Yes.
right.
De la vaquita. Compro yo ya. De la vaquita verde.
Ghee. Clarified
ghee at home
ghee
as well.
butter.
So delicious.
Yes. Avocado oil, olive oil. Those are coconut oil. Those are healthy fats.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about nuts?
Nuts are healthy fats
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
If it's sprouted.
Salmon.
I know.
Salmon.
Salmon, yes. Fish,
you.
omegas. There's, again, I get picky, right? Because fish is like, you can get parasites, you can get toxins, heavy metals, plastics. There's this like delivery service that you can have. It's called Seatopia. And they deliver no like plastic, heavy metal, like heavily test this seafood so that you're not getting extra toxins.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, I'm going to throw a question at you because you talked about emotions, stressors, anxiety, even on animals, okay?
Yes.
Salmon. I've always had this, like, oh, ¿cuál agarro?
Yes.
Wild caught
Yes.
or farm
Farm
raised?
raised.
Oh, wild.
Oh, my God.
Wild
What
way.
is the difference? I don't have time to
Yes.
research right now.
Yeah.
What's cheaper? What's more expensive?
Right.
What's pinkier? What's pinkier? And I end up going for the pinkier, but
Yeah.
many times I do end up choosing the wild caught. Please tell me I'm doing something right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes!
Marina's
Wait.
got it. Thank you.
That's what it is. That's the magic word.
Wild caught.
Wild caught.
Yeah,
Wild
caught.
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 Yeah, wild caught is the best. Farm raised is like they're in a tank and they're having their own feces.
Why does that even exist?
Because
To feed people. It's
Yeah.
and a price point also.
making money
Making money, it's
from
all-
the consumer.
That's right.
And I really want to educate people on how far this really goes because there's a movie called Dark Waters, and that's where they actually start talking about fluoride in the water system. And it's an amazing movie, but it just shows us that there was a chemical that was made for the army to be able to have better weapons and have better protection on these weapons. And it ended up getting into the homes because they thought, oh, wow, this thing's indestructible. Let's put it in the homes of people. But it doesn't break down. And that is where the BPAs come in, fluorination, and it doesn't come out of the body. So these mass-produced things is a benefactor monetized, and it's just affecting our health very negatively because we think, oh, well, if it lasts forever, let's do it, right?
Right.
And fluoride has been in our water for a very, very long time, but now they're fighting to remove it from our water, from what I hear.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They're fighting
Yes.
to not have it. So
Which
that's
is-
probably going to happen soon.
Which is
hopefully.
why you want to definitely filter your water and have a good filtration system, not only for your drinking water, but for your shower, sink. I mean, these these chemicals can really cause havoc in our systems.
So many things that we are discovering.
Especially right after the fires, right?
Oh my God.
Especially with the fires. Yes, unfortunately.
Now, before we, because we're getting closer and closer to closing the show.
Yes.
I really want to go back to the alcohol. Only because I know because of this, and it's non-alcoholic and it's amazing, and I'm a big fan now. Smells amazing.
It's truly
so. I'm gonna go back and I'll look for it because I think that also drinking alcohol is so social.
Yes.
You go to a party and it's not the same to walk around with a cup of water, right?
No es.
Like you want to walk around. I know. You want to walk around with something pretty and something that tastes nice, and you want to cheer. There's a lot of cheering going on at parties and events, right? Everybody cheer, and then you're picking up your glass of water. You're lame. You're like, oh God.
Yes.
And it's so like ingrained in our brains that alcohol, fun, la la la, right? And I hate to be the bummer here, but I want to kind of change that.
Yes.
Going forward, like we don't need poison anymore.
Yes.
Like we can be healthier. So I want you to talk about like the side effects of alcohol and what they found, lately about alcohol, right? So especially for women.
Yeah, it really taxes our liver. It causes gut inflammation. So sometimes when I see people in office and I sometimes go over their belly and they'll have a lot of like tender spots. That is chronic gut inflammation. So this not only affects the gut, it affects the brain. It starts to degenerate the brain. And this is where it's not just the alcohol, it's the chemicals in the alcohol.
It's like a poison from what I hear.
Yeah, exactly. So what is a hangover? Your effects of poison. So
or dehydration, because obviously you need to learn how to balance. The thing is with me, me voy a defender.
Yeah,
I know. No, the way that because I know that alcohol in the end is not the best thing to put in our bodies. Pero man, como te ayuda en un momento de relaxation. And I truly enjoy the taste. That's the thing.
Me too.
There are many of us that truly enjoy a fine glass of wine.
Yeah.
And it's really the taste, and that's where I want to go. So you do have to prep your body. That's what we need to do. If you're not going to drink a glass of wine, like I drink it at 6, 7 p.m., pero todo el mendigo día estuve agua y agua y agua. I mean, that bottle, that the Stanley is a part of our bodies, and you know that. And also, I know when to drink my wine at home, and I have to give myself at least 4 hours before I go to bed because I don't want it to trigger my sleep either.
Right. Yeah. It disrupts the sleep, right?
Y si voy a una fiesta, if I know I'm driving, well, I am a responsible person. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and muchas personas dependen de mí.
Yeah.
And so I need to take care of my body. So I also take care of that aspect. And in the end, yo sé que el alcohol no es lo mejor. Pero también dices tú, okay, why are there so many studies too? Like, un día it's bad, but then red wine also has its benefits. What kind of wine? There are good wines
and
that benefit.
Who lobbied for that?
That benefit your body.
Who lobbied that said the study says it's good
I don't know.
for you?
I think
It's
everything in moderation. There's abuse, there's alcohol abuse, and there is... I like to socially drink. I have so much alcohol at home. I never drink
it's
at
all
home.
moderation.
But if I go out, I am like, I have a couple of cocktails.
But why do we drink? Let's think about that. We drink to loosen up and to like...
No, I drink it because I truly enjoy the flavor. Te puedo decir, es un gusto que me nació hace, ya más de 10 años. Yes, in the beginning, like sushi, I was oh, this is slippery, funky and wonky. It took a few tries for me to appreciate sushi, and I know you love sushi.
Oh, yeah.
Lo mismo me pasó con el vino. Actually, lo voy a decir. Un exnovio me presentó el vino por primera vez with sushi.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of date is this? Sushi and wine?
Yeah.
Two things.
Red wine to me that day tasted like medicine. Like, why do people drink wine? It tastes like medicine and then this slippery thing in my lips. And mouth.
Wait.
That sounded really weird.
Sushi, what are you talking about?
Wait. Sushi, right?
I know my
what was slippery in the mouth?
Sorry, Dr. Sandy. Sorry.
Ella está jovencita. No echen a perder su mente tan bonita.
I'm a doctor. We talk about libido.
That's the thing. The thing is,
oh my God, we got to do another episode on libido.
Libido with you.
Yes.
It was an acquired taste for me, where I truly enjoy the taste of wine. Pero everything is balanced. Everything is todo con medida.
Yes.
Y no es como que tomo vino todos los días. Perception is one thing. That's one thing I learned in radio.
Yes.
Perception will always stay. So la gente piensa que tomo vino todo el santo día.
Yeah.
I don't drink wine all day.
Right.
And I don't drink
Only
wine
once a day.
every day. No, matter of fact, let me tell you something. My neighbor, she's from London. And my other neighbor is from Australia.
Ooh.
And so we were drinking wine one day during the pandemic. Sacamos las botellitas, the chairs. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been drinking so much wine. And they're like, oh, how much, dear? You know, like, oh, dear. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been drinking like a bottle. Oh my God, a day? I said, no, a week. They started laughing at me. They're like, Tia, we drink 2 bottles of wine a day.
Yeah.
The Italians, Europeans, French drink wine desde que son niños, since they're kids. But it goes back to what you said. European wines are made differently and probably healthier versions.
Yes.
But
Because of
they
the grapes,
grew up drinking wine. And you see a 110-year-old lady that's still up and she's on the Smuckers, jam.
Oh, yes.
What is the key to your long living?
Yeah.
My glass of wine.
Yes.
Ahí estoy yo.
Yes.
Yo quiero vivir 100 años.
Glass of wine.
I do have to say it's moderation and your energy during that time. Energy is everything. If you're stressed out, like I'm eating this, oh my God, it's so bad for me. I shouldn't be eating it, but I want it. That stress is going to cause more negativity than what you're actually consuming. So everything in moderation. I mean, we are living in a world where we can't control everything, but your perception on, again, not stressing out, just controlling what you can. That's where the balance is. Like, it's not always okay if I'm out at a restaurant and I'm not eating the best. Well, okay, just, enjoy the food. You can't be stressing about it. Stress is its own disease in itself. So we have to balance that out. And if you're around good company, you're having a good time, that's going to really offset that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the most important.
When you say moderation and then also balance, I think that's so important because I've been on, a health journey this past year. But, there are those days where you go out and you want to be good. But before, I will say, that day came and I'm like, ni modo. Everything went to shit. Like, I am done.
Right.
Back on the jolly train.
That's so true.
And so now I think what you just said really speaks to me because it's, you might have not a great night, but the next day you make it a really great day. And so it's about balance. It's about making good choices and not stressing yourself out and having a little bit of it.
Exactly.
And
And make it a lifestyle, not a diet.
So
That's the other thing.
I tell
always
people-
tell
That's
people
so
that.
true.
Yeah, I tell people,
You taught me that too.
Yeah.
do 80% your best, 20% live. Live your life. Live your life.
Yeah.
And just going back to the wine thing and any kind of thing that you need to be happy, it's bad. If you need that to be happy, then that means that you're depending too much on that. Whether it's a piece of cake, whether it's a cookie, chocolate chip cookies, which sugar is an addiction, and we know
I'm a
that
sugar addict.
I know we didn't talk.
I
We didn't get to
don't
the
need sugar,
part.
but I drink my wine that has a little bit of sugar. But es como que todo tiene algo negativo.
Sí.
Yeah.
It's more like, how do I balance it out and how do I prep my body for it and how do I tackle that, right? Entonces yo creo que ahí está todo. Todo tiene un lado bueno y un lado malo.
Yeah.
It's just, si vas a pecar, peca bien. Pero no peques todos los días.
Yeah.
You can't do that,
that's it.
you know?
And if you have the right tools, like I tell people, if you're drinking, there's certain things you can take, like there's supplements called binders. So you can start to pull out those negative effects after you drink your alcohol.
What do you think
there's
about milk
detoxing.
thistle?
Milk thistle, I love it. Anything that has to do with the liver.
Thank you.
Dandelion tea, milk thistle.
Okay.
That really supports our liver.
So, comadritas, hear me out, subscribers. Part of my little secret for drinking wine. If I'm going to go to a party, now that I had my big 50 bash and you guys were all there, yay, obviamente me llegaban las copas, like, hey, the birthday girl me llegaban una champagne, que la dama dorada, que un tequila. I mean, those drinks were flying to me. But I prepped my body the whole day. I ate well. I slept well. I drank a lot, water. But then when I got home, guess what I did before I went to bed? Otra vez, mis litros de agua, no tanto, ¿verdad? Pero sí, dos vasos de agua, and my milk thistle pill. Thanks to my sister Mayra, who's probably hearing this and watching this, la chupitos mayor de la familia. She's like, RG, never again wake up with a hangover. Drink your milk thistle pill, your water, and if you really have a mean hangover, maybe an Advil. Maybe, but you don't have to. Game changer. Al día siguiente, pregúntame cómo amanecí, vi el Super Bowl. Milk thistle to the rescue. And I have Dr. Sandy here too.
Wow. Sí, un aplauso. Sí, that is perfect.
It is.
So our liver detoxifies in the middle of the night. So we have something called a biological clock, a circadian rhythm. And that basically means our organs are functioning optimally during a certain time of day. And what I typically get is people say, I am not sleeping throughout the night. I'm waking up 1 a.m., 3 a.m. The liver detoxifies between 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. So if you're waking up between that time, it's your body's sign of, hey, your liver needs some help.
Wow.
So there's signs, but the fact that you took that tea right before bed, I mean, you aided that detoxification at nighttime.
Sí.
So that's very helpful.
It's una pastilla, but I know there's a tea version as well.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
the supplements are good. Supplement form is good too, and so is tea.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's milk.
All
So it does
right.
so.
Ahora sabemos.
It does.
Sí.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always worth a try, right?
Chicos, ya sé que les voy a regalar.
I know.
I
Una
know.
botellita
Okay.
para ti.
Okay.
You get milk thistle. You get milk thistle. You get milk thistle. No,
I don't
no,
need
porque you don't
milk
need it. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't need milk
Especially
thistle.
not now.
I'm just so happy not drinking alcohol anymore. I don't need it. I'm just as happy. I'm just like, I'm so happy to promote that you don't have to, you know, drink and,
That's good.
you know, you're present. You're not like falling all over the place. I love it. It's like
great.
normalize being sober and actually enjoying your time being
Yes,
sober.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because let me tell you, I had my days. I couldn't wait to drink and feel like,
Yeah.
woo, I feel flying off the walls and having a great time. Inhibitions are, you know, just forget it. They're done. It's like, I'm ready to party and have a good time.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, I thought, wow, you know, I don't want my daughter
Sí.
to get into that rhythm of I need alcohol because that equals fun.
Yes.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't mind like a little glass of wine to really enjoy food. That beautiful steak with that red wine.
Yes.
That beautiful piece of fish with that white wine. That is a different level. But to go out and say, I need a drink. Like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
and one after another.
It's like, no. So I want to normalize
Sí.
not drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
and
hope
hey,
you
yes.
comadritas support it because also I read that alcohol causes cancer in women. Now, I don't know the percentages or how bad.
Right.
Again, moderation. You know, there's a difference, right? You're drinking or polishing a bottle every day versus you're out there having a nice steak with a glass of wine, you know?
See,
so that's fine.
I would be very careful on linking wine causes cancer because I've gotten that
Or
comment a
alcohol,
lot.
yeah.
Oh, it's all over.
Argelia, no tomes vino porque te va a dar cáncer de pecho. You're going to get breast cancer. And it's like we have to be careful how we say things because obviously we don't know about pre-existing conditions.
Yes.
We don't know about
genetics.
the lifestyle.
Yes.
It all depends on lifestyle. Abuse is really what I feel like it affects us. And you're here to tell us that. Pero no podemos, there's so many factors. I mean, just today, we've learned about so many factors that could make us sick.
Yeah.
So we can't pinpoint and say, ese vino te va a dar cáncer de seno.
Yeah.
Porque
There was a new study done. So you
todos los días salen
you
estudios.
girls
That's
can
the thing.
Google
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And you'll find it. That was a new study. that just
to that
came
point,
out.
it's correlation is not causation, right?
and
And
thank you.
And so sometimes, you know, things happen, but we don't know the full study. And so
Exactly.
you don't know if that person had, look, is it good? Probably not, right?
No, of
And
course.
and so in moderation, that is important.
The
for
fabuloso
sure.
we mop with can cause cancer.
Yes.
You know, so
I
many
bet you anything that if
factors.
Sandy were to come to
So
our
many
home, she would say,
factors.
this is bad, this is bad, this is bad.
Your environment
So
is
amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And I know
we
that
drink
we all...
water out of water bottles, out of
Totalmente.
plastic bottles.
I even hear that
causes
candles are
cancer.
toxic too.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. So
They
there's
have-
so
Oh my
many
goodness.
factors. So
Estamos
for us
vivos
to
de
say
milagros.
only alcohol,
I can't believe I'm
no.
alive. Seriously.
Yeah.
Estamos vivos de milagros, de verdad.
Yes.
La que
Can't
sí.
believe
Yeah. Again, we want to arm the way that our body is able to detox. That's the best we can do. Just support our detoxification processes because we are going to be exposed. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yes,
I just
inevitable.
love that you make that point that it's about arming your body with good nutrition.
Yeah.
Because I think no matter where you stand on everything, that is so important. That is your first defense. I know people that, you know, really put a lot of money into really, really good food and nutrition so that they don't have to use their insurance, so that they don't have to, you know, get sick.
They pay it up front,
Yes.
like I said.
Yeah,
you pay
what
it
you
up front.
what you feed yourself, what you surround yourself with. We all know there are so many things out there, and it starts with food. You know,
And you know what I
put on
heard,
your
Sandy,
skin.
and maybe you'll vouch for this, is that actually the number one thing they did a study on older people is actually stress levels.
Yes.
If
Yeah,
your
stress
stress
is a big
levels are
factor.
low,
Yeah.
then you have just a way better quality of life.
See,
I do want to touch on stress levels because, again, I told you that that's important for the nervous system, for our vagus nerve that connects our brain to our gut. And again, we are just in this lifestyle that's go, 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 and people don't know how to get out of that mindset. Like there's people where I literally am asking, how do you manage stress? Like, can you decompress? Can you sit down and like think about nothing? Nope. If I'm watching Netflix, I'm thinking about what I need to do later. Like, this is a waste of time. I should be doing something else. So being able to unplug, because when your body's in that rest and digest and like chill mode, that's when it's actually going to be able to heal. So your body's going to react to positivity. There is the study that they did a plant in 2 rooms. One plant was told beautiful things. One plant was told ugly things, not nice things. Wow. The plant that was told beautiful things was the one that grew and thrived. The one that was told ugly, not nice things, died. So it's not only the energy of the things that you do for your lifestyle, what you eat, it's also what you tell yourself. And you have to love yourself. You have to say you're worth healing. You have to do the work that you are worth it, that you are happy in this body and grateful for this body. So, I mean, that, again, it comes down to energy. What
Janet
energy?
has mentioned that too. Be kind to your body.
Yes.
Even though you know that you are not where you want to be.
Yeah.
You want to lose those extra pounds. Be kind to your body.
Yes.
Everything that you just said is exactly what the journey that I've been. You know, we all want to be there, but don't be mean to yourself now. You know, because right now the body that you're in is doing so much for you.
It's so much for you, really.
Right?
And for people who really have a hard time getting out of that situation, like out of that mindset, I tell them, okay, there's something called neurofeedback. You are giving your brain I use a therapy called Brain Tap, and it's a headset goggles that has red light and blue light.
I heard about that.
And it alters the brain waves. It gives you binaural beats and frequencies to start harmonizing and rewiring your brain to think differently. And then there's also something called vagus nerve stimulation. And that is another way that you can also help yourself because you are activating that vagus nerve. I do something with like a frequency over the throat, and it's sending those impulses to the vagus nerve. You can also hum, sing, gargle, like all these different things to stimulate your vagus nerve. Just how can you set yourself to breathe in, breathe out, and enjoy the moment, live in the present.
Yeah, even just waking up in the morning, I know that because we're always in a rush or we went to bed too late watching Netflix or whatnot, and I need to get my 6-7 hours or 8 hours, which we don't even get sometimes. And I feel like even when we wake up, like luego es el brinco. Y no debe de ser el brinco. Like open your eyes, do a little prayer, meditation, whatever, but actually feel your body. That's what I do. I feel my body. Okay, everything's there.
How do you feel your body?
A ver, chonino.
She's
okay,
like,
still like,
¿Cómo se siente?
¿Cómo se siente? No, really, I do. It's because it's me first being thankful that I'm up. I'm awake. I can see the light again. Another day. Thank you, God. I feel that I'm alive. I can see with my eyes. I can step, with my own feet. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I can see with my eyes that I'm alive and I'm breathing. Y empieza a hablarte bonito.
It's that gratitude.
It's
gratitude in the morning, waking up.
Háblate bonito. Por eso me encanta lo que dijiste. It's about food, lifestyle, self-care. And self-care starts with us by looking at yourself in the mirror.
From within.
Yeah, from within, but taking the time to appreciate that moment. And that I started to do because of Oprah. Because in the morning, I would, vámonos. I mean, I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning too, right?
Right.
But there was like, when Oprah said it, she was like, she's right. Like, it's our only time, our only window. Because once you walk out that door, it's chaos for us, right? Especially when you're a mom.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. It's never ending. So to have that moment of peace, even when Omar's snoring, I can hear him snoring.
Pause.
I'm able to block it.
Turn it out. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, hoy voy a empezar bien.
Yeah.
Hablándote bonito.
The best way I like to approach that, and it's really worked for me well, like I just love it. It's part of my day-to-day routine now. There's a journal called the 5-Minute Journal.
I have it.
Oh, I have it too.
I have it.
Yes.
I did it during the pandemic because, there was so much time.
Yeah. We need to do a Comadres version. So it has some Spanish frases del día.
Sí.
That would be nice.
Me encanta.
Because it always has like an inspirational quote. But really, you are starting your day thinking about what you're grateful for, what you're looking forward to happening, like all the positivity. Again, right? Nice talk. A positive affirmation. And then at the end of the day, you could have a bad day, but what was the good from that day? What was the nice, what did you learn What were you grateful for?
Exactly.
Yes.
Gratitude. You said it perfectly.
Yes,
Gratitude. Again, that is going to offset any type of negativity. So if anything, nurture your mind, nurture your body. If you want to have a massage twice a month, go do it. Just like give that self-treatment to your body.
No mommy guilt.
Yeah, no.
We deserve it.
We need, I see so many moms and it's just like all about the kids, and I get it. It's a big responsibility and I can't really speak to it because I'm not a mom yet. But from what I look at, if you're not helping yourself, how are you going to help others?
Exactly.
So you have to put yourself in that healthy mindset.
See, it's a beautiful way to wrap up this episode. We've been here for like more than an hour. And we could totally make
still have
And
way more
there's so
questions.
many more
I know.
topics of wellness
So
that
you know
we
what,
have.
Sandy, Dr. Sandy, please come back.
Yes. Yeah,
we'd
because
love
we can
to.
obviously dissect so many other angles. I wanted to ask you about my hormone patch. Didn't get to ask you about that.
Oh,
the
yes.
IUD.
Yes.
So
Sugar
definitely
addiction.
Do a hormone section.
sugar
Yes.
addiction.
That's
so
yes.
Yeah, for Sandy coming back.
Perimenopause.
For Sandy
Yes.
coming back.
Yes.
For Sandy coming back. For
All of
sure.
it.
Before we close, I mean, I would love to present you ladies with these little gift packages that I've made specifically for Las Comadres.
There's
and
more?
Yes. So how I told you, everything in the body is connected. We have reflexology points. Argelia knows I do something called ear seeding. Yes. They're cute little acupressure points on the ear to stimulate, hey, let's start activating these different parts of the organs. So I made it specifically for Mujeres ear seeding kit. It gives some instructions on how to apply. Empoderada
Oh my gosh.
para las Latinas. And it tells you acupressure points for balance y armonía.
Which is what we need.
Balance and
Harmony
harmony.
is
I
my
love
word of
it.
the year. Armonía.
Harmony. I love that.
Armonía. Last year was balance. This year is harmony. Armonía.
I love
So
that
you
word.
girls are going to be having these cute little gold ear seeds that look like little earrings. So we'll definitely do it after.
They look cool. So yes, you're going to apply it on us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And what else does my little handy dandy kit for Las Comadres include?
That is adorable.
We have an everyday detox tea.
Love
it.
With milk thistle.
Oh, there we go.
No andaba tan perdida, When do you recommend that one? In the morning, at night?
Morning, first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
So coffee, hot, out the window?
Yeah, honestly, you want to have protein before you have
Yes,
caffeine
yes.
because it's going to tax your adrenals. So
Yes.
liver support.
Liver support.
Okay.
We talked about gut health, so of course I had to bring ginger.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And then I brought rose hips and hibiscus. This is actually for radiating skin, boost circulation.
Look at her skin, girl.
I want what you're having.
Exactly.
because
Yes.
it's
Glowing.
Yes.
And just so
Thank
that you
you.
know, comadritas
Yes.
watching and listening, not one drop of makeup.
I know.
Not one drop.
That's insane.
Natural
or
beauty.
highlighter. She has no
I know,
highlighter.
nothing.
Natural beauty, beautiful skin.
I put a little powder just so my face wasn't so shiny, but that was it.
Wow,
and then
love it.
we're talking about nervous system. So I brought on this tea, which relieves stress. It's called lemon balm.
Oh, lemon.
I would have to drink all those teas all day long. Like, oh,
Yeah.
starting,
todos en un jalón.
I know.
Can we mix them?
I know.
That's my question.
Yeah, I like to
Seriously.
really drink tea throughout the day. It's just a nice way to hydrate and have
Yes,
something else other than
yes.
water. And then the last two. So this is tea from Peak. They don't use any tea bags. And these teas, they also are organic. They test for heavy metals, toxins. They don't have any plastics in it. So the quality of the tea is also very, very important.
Okay.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
No plastics.
No
Yes.
Very
plastics.
even check the teas that have no plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Very
there's
important.
most of the teas out there
I know.
are
They
covered
have
with
that.
plastic. And then you're drinking plastic in your tea.
Yikes.
And we didn't even know it.
Yes.
I know.
But this one, Peak, does really nicely because they're little like granules. You just put it in the water and it'll dissolve.
Oh.
So I brought you girls, it's called BT Fountain and it's hyaluronic acid. So an electrolyte blend. So it pumps the skin natural and gives you your essential minerals for the day. And then lastly, again, radiating beautiful skin with some hibiscus. So
I love
¿Qué
it.
está marindo?
Jamaica. So the Latinos know what they're doing.
Jamaica.
Hibiscus,
Yes.
Jamaica.
So these are kits for each and one.
What a great gift.
Thank you so much, Sandy. You're
Thank
always
you,
so
Sandy.
thoughtful.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
my God,
you
we
for
gotta have her
having
back.
me.
Us. Seriously.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you, ladies.
We
Otro.
hope to see you back
No,
soon.
cheers.
And thank you for the bubbly. That was amazing.
I'm glad you
was
girls
the best.
enjoyed it. I'm
Thank
glad you
you.
girls enjoyed
sabes
it.
qué?
Cheers.
¿Sabes qué? I gotta say something. It's all psychological, girls, because I'm on a natural high just with this
what I'm talking
non-alcoholic.
about?
Yes.
Look
So-
at me.
Yes.
Ya se me
Girls,
acabó.
when did you
Dale,
I love
downed
it.
it. Downed it.
If it was a real drink, I'd just barely barely
barely touched it.
barely touch it. Now look at this. This is amazing.
You shouldn't
love
have
it,
told
Coma.
us it was non-alcoholic.
I know.
Right? The placebo effect. You
Yes,
know? Buena
absolutely.
compañía, buena energía.
Eso. That's beautiful ending. Buena compañía, buena energía. Comadritas, ya andas tirando el vino. Eso, como Juan Gabriel.
Eso.
Salud, comadrita.
Salud.
We love having you, Sandy.
Salud.
Our
Thank
fifth
you for having me.
comadrita. Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Follow her on Instagram. We're going to share all of her links, obviously her information if you want to know more. Se contactan con ella. But I love what you said. Say it again.
Buena compañía, buena energía.
There we go.
That's us. That's us.
That's us. Yeah, you're right, G. That's us.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see your reviews and hear your thoughts. You can also follow Comadres Unfiltered on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more updates. New episodes every Tuesday. Until next time, comadritas.